kind of what we're going to cover is we're going to look at the different ways that we can bring Salesforce and Business Central together, whether that's a true integration with SmartConnect.com, SmartConnect completely in the cloud, or even things like PopDoc, where we can embed and showcase data live in one system versus the other. So kind of showing the to integrate or not to integrate conversation. What data really needs to be updated, what things do we need to truly create, update, or delete, and what might just need to be displayed inside one application or another for a variety of reasons. We'll get into that. We'll obviously showcase a live demo. We'll look at some different considerations, and we certainly want Q&A from you all as we go through, or definitely at the end. All right, so kind of starting out on the whole to integrate or not to integrate. We've obviously been doing integration for the better part of the last couple of decades, and a lot of this has been kind of, again, developed and been built out of our experience working with thousands of partners and clients all around the world. So how can we really work smarter and harder work smarter and not harder on a lot of these projects? What do we truly need to integrate? And that's where SmartConnect.com is really going to be your go-to between these two applications. And again, I define that as any scenario where we need to create, update, or delete records versus again where PopDoc can come into play to make this much easier to deploy is just displaying data. So maybe it's again, we'll showcase today access on the Salesforce side, real-time access into ERP data from Business Central. We'll see some things like that. And obviously a key component when you're looking at displaying data in one system versus another, as opposed to truly integrating it, data storage is really a big component of that. So when we have our cloud applications, we want to make sure that we're maximizing our data storage. We're not storing data there that really doesn't need to live in one application or another, or certainly within both applications, because we obviously know that there are certain limitations or thresholds built in, and we don't want to be charged any more than we need to be for the data that we're storing in one system or another. And obviously, when we're looking at true integration, there are some inherent complexities that come with creates, updates, and deletes, whether that's not only mapping, but error handling, processing, maintenance, again, a lot of things, as you all know, that are inherently complex about true integration that we can a lot of times alleviate if we just want data to be visible in one system or the other. So we're going to dive into SmartConnect.com in just a moment. We'll be focusing on Business Central and Salesforce today. But again, just a quick reminder, virtually anything that you guys are handling out there with Business Central, with Salesforce, SmartConnect can really be the go-to for that. And then PopDoc. Some of you might have heard of PopDoc before. Some of you may have not. It's, I would say, relatively new within the last year or so from the E1 team. We've been working on it for a while. It's kind of been a combination of a lot of our other products that have been in the ERP market for a while. I'm going to cover this at a really high level, but I would say probably the 5 most common kind of benefits or features that a lot of our customers are utilizing are: 1, the embedded actionable widgets. So that's something we'll definitely show today, how I can embed real-time Business Central data inside Salesforce, vice versa. I can have one interface for reporting from any application. So I can utilize PopDoc to see my Salesforce data, my Business Central data, and every other system I'm using, whether that's e-commerce system, so whether it's help desk solutions, whether it's credit card gateways, again, whatever it might be. Custom reporting, so maybe I've recently done a migration to Business Central, and I've got some legacy ERP data, whether that was GP or another application. Again, I don't want to store all of that inside of Business Central. I could throw that on a SQL Server in Azure. PopDoc can combine my historical ERP data with my current Business Central data inside a single report within the PopDoc application. So I've got one report for both my historical and my current BC data, or even embed that historical data right inside of Business Central, so I never have to leave to see everything that's going on currently with my customers, plus that historical data that, again, we didn't migrate. It doesn't live inside Business Central, but PopDoc's showing us that in real time. And then we'll kind of look at, again, briefly, exception reporting. So again, monitoring the data that you don't have time to. And again, I'll talk through that further when we showcase PopDoc. All right, let's bring this demo to life. So we're going to showcase a variety of scenarios. So first off, some data coming into an e-commerce website. We'll look at that going into Business Central, into Salesforce, and again, all of those seamlessly working together across not only SmartConnect.com, but also bringing PopDoc in as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of, again, make some orders here on my e-commerce site, and let's go ahead and pick. I'm trying to think of who to go with today. Let's just go with, let's do a Disney theme one. We'll go with Daffy Duck. Call it Disney Enterprises, and they are going to go ahead and order a few different products from the team that he won today. So we're going to grab some unicycles, some flat tires, and a bunch of broken rims. So when I go ahead and submit this order, there's a lot of automation that's going on behind the scenes. So SmartConnect's doing a lot of different pieces with this data. So we are not only creating customers inside of Business Central, we're actually creating an invoice with all those products and quantities that we just entered there within the Business Central side. We're also doing some things on the Salesforce side. So we are creating an account for that. We're creating contacts. We're even creating an opportunity because we're going to reach out to these customers and see if there's, maybe a potential opportunity for them to do some additional business with us. So again, utilizing just a couple different data points. Again, this is a real-time integration that we've processed here. So SmartConnect is truly firing based on when those orders come in and updating all those different systems again in near real time based on the triggers and what we've built out within the additional integrations. So if I go over to Business Central, I'm going to flip on customers. We're going to do a quick search here. And there we go. So I can pull up Disney Enterprises. Take a look at that account. And I'll even come here and look at the invoices that we created. Dive into that invoice a little bit deeper. Scroll on down and we can see, so there are all the products that we ordered, again, just a moment ago. There are all the quantities. SmartConnect's bringing all that data in real time for us. Again, we've got a lot of people that'll even accomplish a lot more integration. So again, this kind of that web form is certainly simulating kind of an e-commerce site. That's certainly been a very popular demo scenario that we've worked a lot with SmartConnect is the Shopify's, the Magentos of the world, the WooCommerces, handling a lot of those types of integrations with SmartConnect. If I flip over, I'm just actually going to close this out. I don't want to leave this window. Go back one more time. There we go. I'm going to leave this window up. We're going to flip over to Salesforce and we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to come in here and there we go. So you can see I've got my Disney Enterprises account. I've got the contact that we created on that, and I've also got the opportunity that we created underneath that. One of the things I love about Salesforce is the time and date stamp. So again, we can see when those things were created, when they were last modified, and again, that record truly came in here just a couple minutes ago. So there's again, we'll kind of dig into this a little bit deeper. There's some really good examples of some true integration when we truly need to create and update different pieces within Salesforce, within Business Central. But also, again, I talked a fair amount about PopDoc in the beginning, so I want to be sure to show that as well and kind of, again, where that starts to fit. So here, if I'm going to pull open my PopDoc widget, so this is a widget embedded inside a Salesforce Visualforce page. This is all real time. So kind of like I talked about in the beginning, this is truly real time with PopDoc pulling this live data from Business Central and showing us the invoices that are coming in from that customer. So this is real time, and I can look at the different invoices. I can look at lines. I can look at even some UPS shipping data on that. So this is pretty powerful, that I never really need to leave Salesforce to see orders, details on those orders, or even shipping data. And again, I'll touch on that a little bit later on account. We've got some cool things built out there. This is all real time. It's not being integrated. It's being shown within PopDoc, and I can completely customize this. So I can take out certain fields. If I wanted to go and add in, again, we don't have location built up. Maybe I want to add in location for a certain individual, or maybe I want to, open that up directly inside of Business Central. If I have an account, I can dive right into that customer, that open invoice. So very powerful is that, again, we can embed this live in real time. I could add any number of filters on this if I only want to see a particular number of orders or certain date and time parameters. Can flip that to a chart, some graphs, export that to Excel. But again, not integrated, it's just being displayed, and we'll dive into that a little bit further. But for now, I'm going to go back in and I'm gonna fire up this opportunity. So we've got a great opportunity here. Again, we had some interesting purchases there by our customer. They had some broken rims, some unicycles, some flat tires. Let's get them a little bit better experience. So we're going to upgrade them to one of our highest priority tools, and that is our touring bike. So we're going to enter 3 of those. We're going to save that opportunity. So again, now this is again a very common scenario of creations and updates. So if I go ahead and mark that opportunity as closed won, again, we've built some different triggers around this integration to say, okay, SmartConnect, we only want you to update Business Central when these opportunities are marked as closed won. So now when I go ahead and mark that as closed won, that's again going to fire that now, again, a real-time integration between SmartConnect and Business Central. I should say between SmartConnect, Salesforce, and Business Central to take that opportunity and create a brand new invoice within Business Central. If I flip back, again, we can see here we've got those invoices. If I do a quick refresh on this page, there we go. Now my sales order has been entered. I can dive in to that order a little bit further. And there we can see we've got our quantity, we've got our total at 30,000 with those touring bicycles at $10,000 each. Pretty cool the ways we can bring that together. So again, I know a lot of you are familiar with SmartConnect, may not be as familiar with SmartConnect.com, so I'll dive into that interface in just a moment. But Salesforce and Business Central is certainly one of the fastest growing scenarios and projects that we're working on with partners and customers around the world. So now again, PopDoc might be relatively unique to a lot of you, so I'm going to dive into that a little bit deeper. So you saw some of that working in real time here. I want to just dive into a customer with a little bit more detail and a little bit more information so we can kind of show you how a lot of our other Salesforce and Business Central customers are using this to, again, kind of blur the lines on integration and reporting for that matter. I might not need to integrate everything, but some things need to be active, they need to be visible in one system or another, and this is where PopDoc can really be a really good complement to SmartConnect. So here's, again, a customer we've got a lot of orders in for. One of the beauties of it is, again, similar to if you're familiar with SmartView, we've got a lot of similar functionality. So I can drag and drop my invoice totals. If I want to move that around, and I want to maybe, group this by location, I can collapse that. Now I'm seeing revenue numbers by each different location for this customer. So they're, Taco Deli, a large restaurant. We handle everything for them from a supply chain process. I could add any filters. Maybe I just want to see orders from this month or this past quarter. Let's say they called me about a certain invoice number. So I can, again, type that in, utilize some of PopDoc's search functionality, and bring in exactly what I'm looking for. I dive into that one, and again, like we were showing on the other side with our Disney Enterprises account, being able to see deeper. So we've got our invoice headers. This is the line items, so quantities, items, descriptions, all of that, again, in real time. And we can take that to another system beyond Business Central. So here we're going to tie this out to actual USPS tracking data. So when did that leave our supplier? Where is it at in the supply chain process? When was it delivered, or should it be delivered to our customer? So again, all this is truly real time between the different systems. It's not being, it doesn't live inside Salesforce. It's not being, again, transmitted. We're just showcasing this in this instance inside a Visualforce page, again, in real time. So I'll kind of show you how that comes together in a moment. Again, we've got some visual functionality as well, where we can say, hey, I want to be able to show you, we want to see the top 10 products that they bought with us with revenue numbers tied to them. PopDoc can show that, and again, it's always pulling in real time. So if new invoices, new updates, new revenue totals come in, PopDoc's always going to show us those different updates. And we can do the same thing on the Business Central side. So notice that we've got PopDoc embedded here. Again, here's where I could show any Salesforce data. I can look at, macro data across the board. Maybe it's, again, some of that historical GP data. I can look at any and all of that inside Business Central. No integration needed, just a simple display from those different applications. All right, moving right along, let's dive into SmartConnect.com itself. So this is the application, the interface. Some of you maybe have been diving deep into SmartConnect.com. Maybe others of you are more familiar with our on-premise tool. This is really, again, where we see a lot of the future of SmartConnect, but certainly SmartConnect on-prem is not going away. All of our SmartConnect subscription licenses moving forward receive a dual use rights. So if you've got a Business Central client, they or maybe even a NAV client that's considering moving to Business Central, they can purchase a SmartConnect subscription. They can utilize SmartConnect on-prem if they'd like to at the beginning, and can consider moving to .com down the road. So within it, again, it's a very simple interface. So similar to what you've come to know, like, and trust with SmartConnect in the past, but we've added in a lot of different efficiencies that, again, from a structural standpoint, we feel like are really going to make integration even easier than what our partners are used to with the on-premise tool. So looking at the variety of connections. So again, I can connect to Business Central, Salesforce, any FTP sites. Again, a lot of flexibility on that. Built in those different data sources. Again, I've got a lot of flexibility on bulk sources, whether that's coming from a specific file, a folder, a query, my changes only, and of course my real-time integrations, which you guys saw in action today. One of the beauties of this is that once I build out a connection in a data source, I can reuse that data source for any integration going forward. So I don't need to, again, build it again for any particular map. Once I built those particular, again, whether it's a Business Central data source, maybe it's a Salesforce business data source, once I've built them once, I can reuse those time and time and time again within any integration. And then processes are really where some of the magic happens, where you're looking at all the different maps that we have built out between Salesforce and Business Central. So for example, some of the ones that we were showcasing earlier, creating contacts and opportunities inside Salesforce, utilizing the data from that e-commerce site. Here's where I can see what's exactly going on there. So again, where's our data coming from? Again, it was coming from that source. We're sending that data to Salesforce. Within that, we are creating a new contact. So what does our mapping look like within that to make sure we're mapping over, again, any required fields that are going to be highlighted in red, in addition to any other fields that we want to be able to include. Again, things like name, full name, that's a required field, but we've got some additional functionality in there. So we're utilizing that as a calculated field, joining together that first name and last name to create the full name that's required inside Salesforce. And again, that looks different inside Salesforce than it does in Business Central. So that's where SmartConnect, again, can really make that powerful to make sure that it's mapping up appropriately from one application to the other. We're going to make sure that we're doing, again, some rolling columns and things like that in the middle, and always the different entity lookups. And one thing that's pretty cool within the way we built this integration is there actually are a couple different maps that are chained together. So we had the create contact and the create opportunity map chained together as a post map task. So once that contact is created, SmartConnect's automatically creating that opportunity directly behind it. Diving into just another one a little bit more in depth. Here's the one where we're taking, again, Salesforce opportunities to Business Central sales orders. So our source, again, I can use that Salesforce opportunity source for any number of integrations. Maybe I've got to send that to a couple different pieces inside of BC. I can use that over and over once I built it out for the first time. Again, we're looking at opportunity ID there. Where am I sending this? Maybe I'm sending that to a few different companies inside of Business Central, maybe based on opportunity or product number. We're going to send that to a different company within Business Central. Again, you can handle all of that inside SmartConnect just like you're used to. There's where, again, all of our mapping is going to come together. And then the other piece that, again, has made SmartConnect really easy is the error processing. So the ability to say, okay, if or when any integrations error, how can I dive in? How can I see what happened? And how can I quickly resolve that directly from this interface without ever having to leave, ever having to look back in Salesforce or Business Central or any other application, but handling that all right within the single error, or the single window, I should say, for that error. Process history, so I can see, again, everything that's historical, and then the scheduling component. So if we're not looking at true real-time integrations, but I want to build the schedulers out like you, again, are all used to, the only change is that with SmartConnect.com, we're scheduling those every 5 minutes as opposed to every minute on the minute, but you've still got all the other flexibility and customization. Global rolling columns, translation tables, variables, again, all that functionality is completely built in. And we've got our generic and really a brand new and improved REST connector as well. So the ability to tap into virtually any API out there. We've made this even easier to work with. So again, maybe it is something like a WooCommerce, a Shopify, etc. SmartConnect can tap into those different APIs. Again, we've done those numerous times and bring that together with that Salesforce Business Central store. Concur is another very popular one. So again, bringing that all together, it's all right there. Yet it's 100% in the cloud to make these cloud-to-cloud application integrations even easier and even better than before. Diving into PopDocs. So this is the actual interface for what we were seeing within some of these different widgets inside of PopDoc or inside of these different applications. So if I dive in here, here's where I can look at, okay, the actual ERP orders, and it logged me out due to security. That's always a great thing. If I dive back in, so this is the same, again, as we call it, widget that was showing those Business Central sales orders. Yet, when we show that inside Salesforce, we're adding an even enhanced level to show only orders for this particular customer. So if we wanted to show this at a more macro level, we certainly can. We can show virtually everything. Maybe I want to see every order from Business Central across all of my customers. We call that, again, more of an application widget as opposed to a favorite widget. Yet, there we go. It's just firing up for me. Perfect. Here's all of the invoices across all of our customers. So again, if I want to sort and filter based on customer name, and we want to do some pretty cool things together. I did not want to hit refresh there. Oh well. Pull all that data back in real time. Again, that's some of the beauty of PopDoc, is that it's always in real time. So as those different applications are updated, you're always getting the latest and greatest without integration, without any runs. It's just pulling from that system and then displaying it in one application or the other. All right, I'm going to flip away from that. I'm going to show you kind of how that happens. So if I go to the developer tab and we'll look at, again, one of those widgets, I'm going to pull this one open. So here we can see, okay, this was Business Central, it was that company, it was the sales invoices. We enable virtually everything within this demo environment so that you can kind of see all of that. But if you want to disable any number of these different actions and options for your customers, for your clients, you can certainly do that. It's as easy as checking or unchecking exactly what you want to. We make it, again, very cool within the demo, but you've got a lot of flexibility here to enable only what you want. And here's the parameter. So here's where we're saying, okay, we want within this widget, when we're showing it, again, in this instance inside Salesforce, or it could be inside anywhere else, we want customer number to be tied back to account. So we're only showing invoices for that particular account inside of Salesforce. And I can always preview this. Again, this gets to be pretty cool. You can see what that's going to look like in real time. I can change my themes. We've got a lot of flexibility on that side of the fence. And then the embed codes. So again, if I ever wanted to pop that exact widget into any URL, I can do that. PopDoc gives me all the data. Additionally, here's really some of the magic within the actual code generator. So for Salesforce, they've got a special, again, there's a language, Apex. So we're generating the exact code you need to put this inside a Visualforce page. So these are all separate Visualforce pages within this Salesforce account. Here's the code that you need to just pop in. Again, really behind the scenes, if I go to the developer console, I can see where we've embedded that to show all that data in real time. There you go, inside of the different orders. Again, we've narrowed that down to show that on just the account page. I'm going to flip back to PopDoc. Again, if we want to embed this data inside Business Central or anywhere else that'll support an iframe, there's the exact iframe language that we need. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of customization there that allows us to get pretty creative. I talked about this kind of, again, what we call exception reporting. So that's another really important piece of PopDoc. And here's where we can build out, again, those different jobs. So again, this can really be monitoring the data you don't have time to monitor from any application. If we want to look at some specific examples within Salesforce or Business Central, let's say I want to get notified anytime we have inventory items with a quantity less than 500. And I want to get that at 11 a.m. every day, or maybe I just want that Monday through Friday. So I can send this to just myself. I can add any email within my organization, and maybe I built out that PopDoc list to again show we've got that filtered down. Maybe it's just specific items. Maybe it's items on a particular company and that needs to go to contact A, while companies B and C need to go to contact C. They're going to get this report every day showing inventory items with a quantity below whatever you set that parameter to. So I don't even have to monitor that data. it's completely automated. Again, this could be from virtually any system out there, or again, another really popular one, maybe on the Salesforce side, is leads without a source or discounts that have been given for your team. So again, you're not really monitoring that data. You're not actively looking for discounts that have been given by your salespeople. Yet, if you want to know and you want that report at the end of every month, the end of every week, PopDoc can automatically monitor that. But again, virtually any different application, any different kind of data set parameters, PopDoc can handle all of that and kind of again monitor the data that you don't have time to. One thing that's pretty cool as well is that PopDoc can create its own API endpoints for any of these different lists. So this gets, again, powerful as well, is that SmartConnect can actually call the API for any of these. We can make that exposable. It can be used with the Power BIs, the Tableaus of the world. So a lot of functionality here, a lot of power to, again, not only enhance the integration scenarios that a lot of our customers are working on, but also that whole reporting bandwidth as well. So I don't want to spend too much more time on this. We want to get everyone out of here again within 30 minutes, yet show you this at a high level. It certainly maybe facilitate some deeper conversations. So circling back to kind of close things out, considerations. So when you're looking at Salesforce and Business Central, one of the biggest pieces to really evaluate if you do need to truly integrate are the entities and the objects that you want to bring together. So making sure that you have a solid plan together, making sure that you're involving stakeholders from both the Salesforce side and the Business Central side together. A lot of times we have people who are maybe from just one side of the house or the other, but really the best projects that we work with are people that have, are invested from both different sides of the house, because that allows us to truly build a comprehensive plan and to have that plan from the beginning. There's nothing worse than starting down a particular path and in the middle having to rewrite, redo, or restart different pieces. Obviously, using a tool like SmartConnect makes the mapping, the error handling part very easy. You get a lot of flexibility in there to match the different processes and ways that your different organizations work together. And the best part was with, again, both of these, you've got a complete and 100% support from our experts, whether it's the PopDoc team, the SmartConnect teams you guys have worked with for forever. We're here to really support you and make sure that every project's a 100% success. There's my direct contact information. I certainly appreciate everyone kind of carving some time out of their day to join us to see a few of these things in action, again, at a very high level. Any questions or anything else out there right now before we sign off and send everyone on their way?